Action News, tracking Hurricane Elsa.
How you doing, everybody? I'm meteorologist Dennis Phillips. We have Greg is in the house. What's up, Greg?
What's going on?
Yeah, he's putting his mic on, getting ready. We have a tornado warning in eastern Pasco County. And, I mean, you look right here, pretty decent signature of a tornado in areas from just to the north of Zephyr Hills and over Ridge Manor. We've been talking about this now for the last couple of hours. Storm Prediction Center advanced and increased the time frame of that tornado watch for the area until 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take this full. I'll tell you kind of what we're looking at here. I mean, from Ridge Manor over to Dade City, the actual warning it said is for Hernando, Pasco, and Sumter County until 1:30 a.m. So that particular cell, I mean, at this point in time, everything that develops for the next couple of hours is going to be a very fast-moving system, and that is just the way these tornado warnings usually play out. Right there, you have it until 1:30 in the morning. So specifically for southern Sumter, northeastern Pasco, and southeastern Hernando County, again, until 1:30. Just about 3 minutes ago, the Weather Service issued this warning saying a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado is located near Dade City, moving north at 40 miles an hour. And I'll tell you, quite often when we look at this, we would say that that's a possible tornado. But I'll tell you, based on the signature that we're seeing right here, Greg, and I think you were looking at it as well, I mean, that's a pretty good chance that we are looking. Doesn't necessarily mean it's making it to the ground, but for a tropical system, usually our tornadoes are very small. They don't last long. This has a decent signature on it.
Yeah, it really does, Dennis. And I think one of the other things you notice about this is the lightning really popped up in this storm just in the last 20 to 30 minutes. So there's Dade City. There's 301. It's going to come up on 75. It's headed towards the north and northwest. This area right there, where you see that little bright pop of green, that's where there could be a developing circulation. A lot of times in tropical systems, these tornadoes, these brief tornadoes, are wrapped up in a lot of rain. So you're not going to see it here. It's likely sucking in a lot of moisture too. So if you live anywhere along 301 from, let's say, the center of Dade City heading north up through Lacucci up towards Ridge Manor, this is the area you really want to get inside here. There is the center of Dade City, so it's likely going to stay on the northeast side of the Dade City area. There's Lacucci right there. Got a couple folks on the Facebook page always commenting from that area. So this is the time to kind of get inside. You want to get away from windows, obviously. You don't want to be looking for it. It's dark. There's going to be a pop of wind with this as it heads up towards the north and east. Oftentimes in these tropical systems, they're very short-lived. They touch down very briefly. And in most cases, these are going to be weak tornadoes, very quick little spin-ups, could easily down a couple of trees, tree branches, that kind of a deal. The warning goes up until 1:30 in the morning. It does include Pasco and portions of Sumter County. The majority of this is going to be in eastern Pasco County. There's St. Leo right there. If you've got kids there at the university, this is going to be all up to the north and east of St. Leo, heading up towards the north and west. So 75 is on the way. Brooksville, well to your south and east right now. The warning is rather small for a tornado warning, and that's because the Weather Service, usually with these tropical systems, they look at them, they don't last more than 15 or 20 minutes, so you don't tend to get very long track systems out of this. This is one of the outer bands around Elsa, the center of which is just offshore of Pinellas County. Been watching the lightning on this storm. Have they seen any reports, Dennis? This is all just radar indicated, right?
Radar indicated. One thing I will tell you, Greg, Jason and I noticed this when I was over at the Key Wall and he was messing with this radar. It caused it to go funky. So I'm just telling you, while you're standing over there, that might be an issue trying to do some zooming in. But in terms of this lightning area, I mean, not a ton of lightning. I mean, you were talking about it. We can zoom right into this area right here. And there you go. I mean, that's really to the southeast of that actual cell itself. Lightning strikes, you know, might be 2 or 3 dozen at this point. Go ahead and check just in the last 15, 20. Well, no, 114 lightning strikes. Matter of fact, you know, we all know with a tropical system, you normally don't see a ton of lightning unless there's some intensification going on. So clearly that's what's going on there. There is the intensification to the point that you do have the funnel. And I'll tell you, back when Charlie rolled on shore back in 2004, I remember seeing a stretch of 8 tornadoes across Hardee County as that thing came through. So the history of a spin or a tornado with this kind of a system is not unusual at all. I mean, it's something we're used to seeing.
Yeah, and they'll kind of follow that rain band, kind of like a set of train tracks.
Yeah.
So this area will then rotate back up into Hernando County. So maybe eventually places like Brooksville's the location that will have to track this storm, and they'll pulse up and down. So you'll get a warning. There'll be a spin in the storm for 15 or 20 minutes, and it'll go away. And then, sure enough, 30, 45 minutes later, it'll spin up again as that line of storms seems to be just in the right location.
There could be two going on.
There could be
here.
a couple of areas of rotation. One right there, and then right here. So the northern one, maybe a little stronger one, and a secondary rotation right there. The outer edges of the storm, there's a lot of change in wind direction as you go up in height. And these thunderstorms, whenever you get lightning, that indicates a thunderstorm, start growing up in the atmosphere. They kind of tap into some of that spin, and you get a couple. Yeah, there's a secondary little pop of bright green right there. So there's one right there. It's directly to the east of the center of Dade City. This is all north of 98th, by the way. And there is a second one, stronger one. This is going to be the northeast side of Dade City, coming up on 301. So basically, if you live between Florida Highway 471 and 301 and north of 98 in eastern Pasco County, this is the area that we're talking about right now. Both of these should stay to the north and east of the center of Dade City, but Dade City goes out here towards eastern Pasco County, and yeah,
they're following right along that same boundary. That's it. So I mean,
like a little train track.
Yeah, and like I was saying that I saw back when Charlie came and we counted 7 or 8. I'm not saying that's the case here. And by the way, for the record, I remember back then we didn't have any damage, so it's pretty common that these small little areas don't do much, and as you said, they last long. But there's some decent signature there. I mean, that looks like I would be willing to bet that's probably on the ground in this area, and we're gonna have to start looking for any reports possibly of any damage. And there you see it as it moves. But this is just in the last 15 minutes. It's a fast mover. And this entire cell is probably moving, well, my guess it's got to be moving probably 35 or 40 miles an hour. We can pop on the details and see exactly what it's doing. But yeah, it's there's 2 areas there, and we'll see if anything else pops behind it along, as you said, that train tracks, because you look at the entire area of rain. I mean, there it is. Again, we'll take off the tornado watch and make it a little easier to see. But when you see that stretch of lightning that begin to pop like that, that's just a sign that things are getting energized, and you can argue all the way down to the southeast. That could continue for a period of time.
Yeah, especially if it is the southern storm in this huge line. This storm has a little bit more open space to kind of suck in some extra juice from the east and southeast. So it's often these southern cells in these lines of storms that tend to be the ones that are a little bit more productive in terms of areas of spin or maybe lightning, any kind of severe weather. In this case, they're on a tropical system. You're going to see a lot of quick spin out of this. So Dade City, I would say the center of Dade City there, probably not going to see much out of this. You're going to have to go north and northeast of town. Lacucci over towards Ridge Manor is the area now. So that is the county line between Pasco and Sumter County. So as this goes to the north, it's going to go up towards 75. Or is that no, is that Hernando County there? That's Hernando County.
Yeah, that's Hernando
County. And then Sumter County, just a little tiny sliver of Sumter County in this actual tornado warning. So it's eastern portions of Hernando County right there, and northeast portions of Pasco County. Right, are picking up not the strongest maybe wind difference between one side of the storm and the other, but
not really.
You know, with these tropical systems, these storms tend to be very weak. Typically, an EF0, maybe sometimes an EF1 out of a tropical system. Most of them tend to be EF0, so they're quick. And a lot of times, they'll just seem like part of the storm, a strong wind gust, tree branches, that kind of thing. That last scan really shrunk in size, didn't it, as it's coming up here on 301.
Yeah, and as you said, this is by definition what a tropical spin is. I mean, they rarely last more than 5 minutes. But still, if you have an EF0, you could be talking 70, 75 mile an hour winds. And remember, we've been talking about 60 mile an hour winds with this hurricane now for the last 6 hours. So let's not minimize the fact that a 60, 65, 70 mile an hour wind, while it's small for a tornado, can still cause some damage. I mean, maybe a pool cage. But luckily, in a lot of times in this area, it's in a pretty rural part. But if you go down to Lacucci here, I mean, where that spin is, I mean, there's definitely, you're looking at State Road, it looks like 575 there, and you see the lightning flashes occur. And again, that lightning is kind of a telltale sign that there is some energy going on with this thing.
Yeah, and it continues to produce the lightning, so it's definitely not in a spin down stage. It may still be at least maintaining its intensity if we're getting fresh lightning strikes there. Right across 301, so if you're watching in the Lacucci area of Ridge Manor, this is the time you got to get away from any windows in your house. Find an interior room, a small bathroom, a closet, a long hallway running down the center of your home. You want to put as many walls between you and the outside as is possible. And it's not just because of the windows, but you may have things outside that go flying, tree branches, things that got loosened during the storm that could easily become airborne very quickly with this quick spin up. No official report from the National Weather Service, but it'd be very hard to get an eyewitness report out of this, as it's probably rain wrapped, and obviously it's really dark up here too. Yeah,
middle of the night makes it tricky. I will tell you though, the Storm Prediction Center came out and listed between 1 and 3 a.m. That's when they thought would be the highest likelihood that some of these cells could become, you know, supercells, and at the very least create some spin enough for a tornado. So nailed it right on the money. 20 minutes after that came out, we indeed had our first tornado warning. And you know, if history tells us anything, I would not be surprised if it's not the last. Then again, there's the lightning flash right around there. So pretty decent chance. I mean, again, they're saying severe thunderstorm warning. Could be, well, it's a tornado warning, but it's saying a severe thunderstorm. But it appears at the very least there's spin. Now, I guess, Greg, there's always the question, is it making it all the way to the ground? Yeah, and at this point, the problem, we're so far away from the radar site, which is down in southern Hillsborough County, that the radar is seeing the spin several thousand feet off the ground. And unless someone literally spots it with their eyes, or we get reports of actual damage out of this, it's going to be impossible to tell whether it is touching the ground. We can sometimes see debris in the air with tornadoes, but if it is an EF0, if it's just in an area where there's nothing large to pick up, you're not going to see that signature on radar as well. So there is Ridge Manor. Your arrival time there, 1:27, so you're looking at about 2 minutes. So within the next couple of minutes, that's 301 right there. That's Florida Highway 50. So that's the highway that runs basically east to west there across Hernando County. So now we're in Hernando County. That's Pasco County right there. The storm now has basically lifted into the very eastern portions of Hernando County. You see the lightning. There's a secondary little area that Dennis we were watching earlier. Maybe doesn't look quite as strong, but there could be some rotation there. There you see the lightning. 5 strikes. This is new just in the last few minutes. So this thing is still definitely ramping up and spinning up. This could still continue to be producing some spin. Moved pretty quickly, Dennis. Now, when you zoom out in the last 10 minutes, it really zoomed up across Pasco County right there into Hernando. Well, here's 15 minutes. I can loop 15, and look how fast it moves in 15 minutes. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty quick. It is pretty quick. Probably 45, 50 miles an hour. Still looking for a new report from the Weather Service. Not seeing anything. This is due to expire at 1:30. But yeah, I mean, that's some decent rotation there. I would have my doubts whether or not it actually makes it down to the ground, but certainly a possibility. And again, if you're just tuning in, southern Sumter and northeastern Pasco, which is really pretty much through Pasco now, southeastern Hernando County until 1:30. So what the Weather Service had said is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Dade City. It has now moved into Hernando, and as I said, it is moving at 40 miles an hour to the north. So it's at the very least hanging together enough that we can see that rotation. And we always use the description when you look at a radar, this is not your traditional radar. This is not looking at rain. This is looking at air motion. And when you see where the top where it says storm rotation, think of a merry-go-round. And you think if you're at the center of a merry-go-round, one part of it looks like it's moving toward you, another looks like it's pulling away from you, and that green color is air moving towards you, red is away, so in a circular fashion, that's how you know there's spin. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's making it to the ground because that radar is looking up into the sky. So based on how pronounced that signature is, and Greg, you know, every now and again, and we don't get it a lot in Florida, you can actually see a debris ball. You can, yeah. I mean, if this were to be a stronger tornado, if it was passing over things that were easily lifted, you're talking about the pool cages, carports, that kind of thing, those things that kind of go flying first, maybe some tree branches or trees. The radar, not only is it scanning around, but it's scanning
up and down, so it can actually tell the shape of things in the air. So it can distinguish between sleet and hail. It can distinguish between a raindrop and a snowflake. That is dual-pole Doppler radar. And in the case of tornadoes, and this is extremely helpful, it can basically confirm that a tornado is on the ground by seeing large objects in the air that don't belong there. So things other than rain. We are not getting that signature or that indication from the radar this morning, which is certainly good news. So that's I-75 right there. That's going to be Florida Highway 50 or the US 98 right there. 50 is a little farther to the south. So that's 98, that's 75. So this thing is about to cross the interstate here just before the Sumter County line here as you head out of Hernando County. So this is about to exit the warning, actually. Dennis,
I was going to say, I wonder if they're going to expand it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they might very well do so. They haven't done it yet, but I would not be the least bit surprised because it's moving so quickly. And I think this makes sense because a lot of times when a tornado warning is issued, especially with a tropical system, they don't expect it's going to last particularly long. Rarely do you see what we call long track tornadoes with a tropical system like this. But not only do we have the one that's ready to move around I-75, I mean, this one right here is certainly northeast of Lacoochee. I mean, there's some lightning with there, and there's definitely, you see that red color, and I'll show this to you visually. You see this green color here, and this red color here, and that's kind of that whole merry-go-round effect that I'm talking about, and gives you the idea that there is some spin over there. But I still think the one moving outside of this box is probably a little more pronounced. And still, look at the lightning. I mean, that's from the last 15 minutes. So that kind of shows you what the track was, where it started, and where it has gone from there. And there's certainly the chance, as we look at the rest of the area, that we could see more developing as well.
Yeah, and that storm moving really quickly. I'm actually looking at some of the exit numbers here on 75. I know FDOT has some cameras up here.
Hey, they just expired it, though, by the way.
Okay.
Sitting here looking at it. We're still showing the box here, but according to the Weather Service, they expired the tornado warning for Hernando, Pasco, and Sumter. So in their opinion, at least at this point, this is not showing rotation anymore. But, Greg, we both know that just because a warning expires does not mean that they cannot reissue it if they see it pop back.
Yeah, things can change very quickly. Things can spin up very quickly. This is actually about to move into a wildlife management area, so it's also not going to be very densely populated. Not a lot of people on the west side of 75 here, north of 98, as that storm continues north and west.
All right. So there you go, folks. We wanted to break in, let you know a tornado warning was in effect. That has expired. We would not be the least bit surprised if we see something else developing down the road, but at least for the time being, we will get an update from the National Hurricane Center pretty shortly, within the next half hour or even sooner than that. And if that's the case, we will let you know if Elsa is still a hurricane or if it has been downgraded to a tropical storm. We've had winds gusting up to about 60 miles an hour in the coast in Pinellas County in the last hour. Heaviest rain is now stacked up. You can see it stacked up north to south from eastern Hernando, Pasco, Hillsborough, and Manatee County. Interestingly enough, and that's sometimes the case with a tropical storm, where the training sets up, where that rain sets up and just moves south to north, you can see several inches of rain and also flooding, and yet closer to the coast, which was the original thought because closer to that center. But this is easily, Greg and I have almost been joking about it, one of the worst looking hurricanes I've ever seen in my decades of existence doing this stuff. So we will see if it maintains a hurricane status or not, but regardless, for us, it's a wind maker, probably not damaging wind for most of the area. You know, maybe a pool cage could see some issues with some screens blowing out, some tree branches. Greg said even driving in, you didn't even see any tree branches,
No
right?
tree branches in my neighborhood, and it's covered by old live oaks. Usually get debris all the time.
So at this point in time, we will see what happens at 2 o'clock for the next advisory, but that tornado warning has expired. We'll return for coverage and break in if anything else begins to pop.